Let's hit it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Broads, Panties, and Sports. Ooh-wee. The NBA playoffs have started, and the NFL draft is around the corner. Well, really, it's right across the street. It ain't even around. It's right there across the street, the NFL draft. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the first lady of sports talk, Cheryl Smith. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the draft is right around the corner. It sure is. There's a lot of exciting things going on with that draft, too. You know, the whole talk is Shedeur Sanders going to slip. They don't know where to put him. It's like it's an enigma there. They don't know what to think.
Where Shedeur Sanders land? There are some good spots he could go to. And then there's some spots that like, shoot. He might go there. I don't want to go there, But, that's the thing. When you're the top guys, you're going to go to pretty much poor teams because they got the picks. So that can be interesting. And first, it's just been the last couple of weeks with the end of with the NCAA championships and folks getting fired in, the NBA regular season coming to an end. The last couple of weeks, it has been just stories everywhere. But we only get to pick a few of them. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from K Jon plus RJ. I was looking at that. I was thinking of KC and JoJo, but they're not actually they're not singing together. When they find their shining star, get the cold feel of the mute button, First Lady, we're ready. What you say?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea, fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie, known as Nico a la Malava, is flying far away from being Tennessee's star quarterback via the transfer portal to UCLA. Was Nico's decision to make the move a financial move or an offense move? The word on the street is Nico left the Volunteers because of a dispute over NIL money. E.F. Mavalava, I got stuck with that hard last name, had a do not contact designation to his portal entry, which indicated the player already knows where he is going. Nico reportedly wanted his pay to go from $2 million to $4 million a year. Is there a future for ex-NFL head coaches in the college ranks because they know how to work the money game? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking what you say. And please rest in peace, George Foreman and Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Well, Spitface, we've gotten to this point. Did we suspect this was going to happen? I would think so. Let's face it. Nico is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He's playing the system that currently have no rules. Is he out of pocket for reneging on his initial NIL deal? Morally, yes, but theoretically, no, because the NCAA has basically turned the college game into a paid profession institution. Actually, an institution can overall use. Now, that's quite interesting because it doesn't say how much individual players can receive. So he's doing like professional players do, request for more money when they are under contract. Now, Tennessee, to their credit, did not acquiesce to his demands, unlike professional leagues where ownership majority of times will capitulate to their star players' demands. Now, that they didn't happen in college. So this is where we are in college football. Now, like you said, that according, this was through the Athletic, that he entered the transfer portal and he is going to UCLA. The Tennessee coach has said there's no one bigger than the Power T, and that includes me. Now, it's reported though, that UCL is believed to be paying him in the low to mid $2 million range. So he's not really getting the money, supposedly, that he was initially offered to Tennessee. That Tennessee college game is quite not like a pro level game, because he basically lost a little money. That's what they're saying. Now, they don't have the exact numbers, but you know how those rumors get out. Now, in regard to an ex-NFL coach in the college rank, would they be able to maneuver better in the college ranks because of the money game? It's really it's not relevant, because, believe it or not, in the professional game, it's really the GMs that mainly make the contracts. Obviously, the coaches have say, unless that coach is a GM also, like Bill Belichick was, then they really shouldn't have advantage in the college game. And more importantly, the NIL deals are not done by the schools. I don't know if people know this. NCAA, it's kind of weird how this NIL deal is, because they have guidelines stating that the school cannot offer them the NIL money. That's what the rule says. The money is usually offered by college donors, a collective group of people that negotiate these deals with the players, I want to say on behalf of the institution. So what does the institution do? The college coaches and the athletic directors, they identify potential opportunities. So when you think about that, it really doesn't make sense with this NIL deal because they're referring them to the donors, but the donors are working on behalf of the school. So what? And then the NCAA, they only allow certain amount of money that each school can offer. So it's kind of crazy to me, this whole NIL deal. It really, they need to really look at this process, and they really need to come up with some tougher guidelines, more clear guidelines, because to me, it's kind of murky. I mean, when you think about it, you're telling them how much money they can spend to the institution, yet the institution can't directly offer the money to the players. So I'm not understanding it. I mean, it's like a blur, to be honest with you. And I think they're going to have more problems. And this is something that the NCAA really needs to start sitting down with a group of people. And now that you've been doing this for a couple of years, you need to come down and make some harsh decisions on how this NIL should be applied. Now, as far as Nico, well, he claims it wasn't all about the money. He wanted to play in his hometown, California, but it's about the money. It's always about the money. That's what I say. All right.
First lady, it is always about the money.
Yes, it is.
And gone are the days of the, I'll just say, the college athlete that plays a sport that generates television revenues and folks make big money. Now the college athletes in those sports, mainly football, basketball, it's when you Google a player, let's say like Nico, a few years ago, when the name would have popped up, it would have said college football player. Now what it says is that it goes football player, because they're getting paid. There's no amateur about this anymore. They're getting paid, and that's the main deal. They're getting paid. Now I think Nico made a move. He made a move. He said, "Look, I had 2,600 something yards passing. I had 358 yards rushing. I had 19 TDs. I went out and played, and I want to get paid. Now, it's interesting that you're saying, First Lady, that the colleges don't actually pay the players. It's a combination of donors that dish out the money. So I'm going to colleges they were getting over like a fat rat in the first case. But now they go, look, okay, we got to pay these kids, but we don't have to pay these kids. So they still making money. I'm like, not that they weren't going to make any money, but it's just like interesting. I don't even have to pay that much. So, so that makes it interesting. But that the element, once money gets introduced, sooner or later, you're going to have more Nicos who are going to say, well, let me see. People go, they're going to see what the boundary really is and what they can get away with. And in the money game, as long as it's legal, now morals are a different thing, commitment, all of that, but just straight out money, there are going to be people who are going to see what they can get away with, what they can get. And I do think that some schools that have that bring in an ex-NFL coach may have an advantage, not so much in playing the money game, but when you have that money game mentality, being able to put a darn team together and have them play as a team. Because they've had to deal with players who making exorbitant sums of money, and it's like, dude, shoot, I just signed $100 million contract. Okay, coach, and I'm not going to say that players all fit in that kind of case, but you're going to get some players who, they got their little attitudes and now you're going to have that in the college ranks. So people have kind of had that experience with those kind of egos, may have a somewhat of an advantage, and I'm thinking of here's Coach Prime. Now, the program he's building, players he's having, it's going to be some egos. Well, nobody got bigger ego than Prime, but being able to, he's been around and in the locker, on both sides, he's been around the locker room and played it. And now as a coach, he can, he's bringing all that he's seen. And this new world of the portal and NIL money, coaches with his type of NFL experience may just have an advantage in this new world. But Nico, it's good that you went to UCLA so that you could see if you could be close to home, get some home cooking. But may your upcoming season be well. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
Yeah, I understand. You're right with the egos, but the question is, are these egos are going to get overblown by these NIL deals? That's the whole thing. And most a lot of the coaches have gone, NFL coaches have gone into college, but some of them mainly started out college and went to NFL. They went back to college. I mean, Nick Saban had tried to go to the NFL. He didn't do well in the NFL, so he said he's going to take his behind back into the college ranks. But there's more pressure in the NFL ranks than it is in the college ranks. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the college game is coming to with these NIL deals. To be honest with you, it is just so out there as far as being like I said, murky waters. It's just you don't really know what's going to happen after what Nico did. So, I think it's a game changer. Are you going to have more issues like that? Because you know what? The other guy, the quarterback from Georgia, you remember he was going to enter the draft. He left Georgia and went to Miami. And the Miami coach made a statement that, he talked about Nico like it was a bad thing. And, yeah, you gave Beck all that money. Well, let's say the donors gave all that money. So coaches don't really have any say as far as I'm concerned regarding these NIL deals. And they really shouldn't talk against it because, number one, many coaches have left the college and gone from one college to another college to take more money because it always comes down to the money. Follow the money. That's all. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Yeah. It comes down to the money. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making his tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go, boom, explosion, overpowered, over the competition. I'm towering, wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare move, stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest of the all get sliced and diced. Competition, paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama say knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch a couple of weeks ago to the head coach and GM of the Denver Nuggets who both got kicked to the curb. At that time, the playoffs were around the corner, but we're still wondering, was this a somewhat suspicious move by the Nuggets? Head coach Michael Malone held the record for the most wins by a Denver coach and won a title. Is this the era of what have you done for me lately? The Nuggets ended the season, let's see, it looks like the fourth or the fifth seed, which is pretty good. And, as far as heading into the playoffs, is there more to this story? Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Leonard and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you saying. First Lady, nothing has leaked out like, the head coach wasn't having an affair with the VP of operations wife or the coach's wife was having an affair with somebody. And it just seems like ownership and management were impatient, a little impatient. And they got the money. It's their team. But it looks like they, that this is the guy who's got you winning. And they are a winning team. And what you're basically saying is that because we are not battling it out for a championship, well, we are, but we're not in the finals every season and winning. We are like in a bad situation, or we're stagnant, and maybe they were, maybe they made a good move and said, well, hey, we're stagnant. But you kind of wonder, whenever a coach gets let go of a winning team, a winning program, because they, quote, can't get the team over the hump, it seems like they bring in somebody and the team go down. The team doesn't go, now they're getting better. The one instance that there are probably a lot of instances where, it's worked. They brought in a new coach and with a fresh perspective, and they got more out of the players and things, things were better. I'm sure that happens. But I'll say more with teams who weren't doing that well or were mediocre. But teams who are doing good, the time I actually remember is probably Phil Jackson with the Bulls. He came in and boom, they went and won a title. So, and won like 6 more. So, but that's rare. But I haven't heard anything sneaky was going on. But I do think that ownership and the managers have, it is a what have you done for me lately? But sometimes you got to look at, where do you want to really go? Do you want to have a Popovich where you end up with years of winning, and within those years of winning, having some championships or not, and so Nuggets, I don't know if it was good time to change horses in the middle of the race, but we shall see. First Lady, are the Nuggets working it out?
Well, I mean, this was a surprising move to most, but to some, it wasn't surprising. And there is stuff that has been leaked out, Spitface. There basically was a philosophical difference between Michael Malone and GM Calvin Booth. And that has been an issue throughout the entire season. Booth wanted Malone to incorporate several of their rookies into the start. It's not in the starting rotation, but into the rotation in general. Malone wanted to stick with his veterans. If you remember, the Nuggets, the year that the Nuggets won the championship, they had KCP called, and he went to, they lost a lot of players. Jeff Green was on that team. Jeff Green went to the Rockets. They had a lot of veterans on that team that helped them to win that championship. And Malone had an issue with them trading a lot of the players. So, and Booth had drafted a lot of young players. He did Braun. He's been an excellent player. So Malone wanted to stick with his veterans, in particular Russell Westbrook. And it's been such a conflict in the organization. It had gotten so bad in the organization because each man involved others to support their side. So it became a very toxic situation in this organization. And the owner, Stan Kroenke, he didn't want to choose. That's why he fired both of them. He did not want to make a decision on who to keep. So he decided to get rid of both of them. As a matter of fact, Calvin Booth probably would have stayed because in the summer they offered him a contract extension, but he did not want to take that contract extension. He wanted more money. So when this whole situation came up with their differences, that's really it just became such a toxic situation. So he decided to fire both. He was going to fire both. He actually was going to fire both of them earlier, but he just decided not to. But then it had gotten to a point in this organization that it became so toxic and it involved so many people. So now their main star, Jokic, he was informed of the decision. According to him, he says he didn't have input into the decision to let Malone go. However, the rumor is, though, if he wanted to say something that he didn't want Malone to go, I think Grumpy would have listened to his star player. Now, the thing is, though, Michael Malone has started losing the locker room. And he's a no-nonsense, get in your face, yell, yell, yell type of coach. And the team basically got tired of that because, there was a time there when I think they had lost like 6 games or I forgot how many games in a row, but they were getting blown out. And usually when teams are getting blown out, it's because the coach has lost a lot. And in this situation, the team got very tired of Michael Malone and his yelling and coming, down hard on players. So this is what happened. So that's the scoop. That's what the pundits are saying. And it makes sense now because to get rid of both people at the same time before the championship, it just tells you how bad that situation was in this organization, and it was tearing the organization apart. Now, even though they have a new coach, as long as you have Jamal Murray and Jokic, are available on this team, they have a chance to win a championship. But I don't think their chances are great as it was before when they won the championship. Excuse me. So it's very competitive in the West. I'm saying I'm all choked up about it.
I personally like. Well, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
I mean, like I said, I'm just so choked up about this situation. My goodness. All right. Stay tuned. Oh, gosh.
Well, I'll let you throw together.
I can take us to break. I'm sorry. I'm so choked up about that situation with this. Got me all choked up. I'm so sorry. Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from K Jon on Shout Out Part 1.
Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from K Jon.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from K Jon out of the Motor City, Detroit. They say, quote, one of the most impressive artists to break out in the R&B field in the most recent years is no other than Detroit's native K Jon. All right, DJ, let's hear Without a Woman.
My days, when he created you, he took you from my chest. Beauty for me, then I fell to my knees. I said, what is this? With long hair and hips, she's persuasive, and that favorite word to serve you. 'Cause I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, and what do we do? We say, girl, you're my world. But she really rules the world. Oh, without a woman, there won't be no emotions. Oh, something in my ups and my downs, my smiles and frowns. There would be nothing without your loving. Without a woman, there would be no joy. There would be no wars. Nothing to fight for. Without a woman who would console me, get to know me. One day a stranger said to me, he said, I can't live with this woman, but I can't live without your love. Did she take away my love? Did she take away my power? I said, if you take your loving, surely I would die. Now what is this running down my eyes? Ooh, without a woman, there won't be no emotions. Oh, something in my ups and my downs, my smiles and frowns. There would be nothing without your loving. Without a woman, girl. became so blessed. Without a woman, there would be no emotions. Always something. My ups, my downs, my smiles and frowns. There would be nothing without your loving. Without a woman.
All right. Okay. That was K Jon out of Detroit, the Motor City. All right. I think, Faith, I'm going to start off with you. Are you going to give it give that track a thumbs up, or are you going to hit the mute button?
Well, I'm not going to hit the mute button. I'm going to give it a yo. And because the production was good and the singing was nice. But, brother, I'm checking out your lyrics. Without a woman, there'd be no joy. Take away your loving. I would surely die. Sisters, I hate to tell you that you might be dealing with a stalker. You got stalker lyrics in the song. And, there would, and those stalker, you got to watch out for well, baby, I just died. You take your, no, nigga. We can't be going that way. So I'm going to get a song of yo.
Okay, because he was fucking lyrics. Okay, well, that just tells you how much he loves a woman, I guess. I don't know, but you're right about that. I'm going to shout it out. I'm not going to give it a yo. I'm going to give it a shout out. I mean, that was just, he was, we hope K Jon is not a stalker. I don't think
therapy, brother. It's a therapy, brother.
It's a therapy.
It's okay these days. Real men, we don't get married too.
I'm not going. I'm gonna give Mr. K Jon a shout out on that. All right, part 2 of shout out will be featuring a performance by RJ. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? It is time for Flip It.
I want to see it's smarter than me. And we remember missing a world full of wonder, lying there all day. I never see.
Time for Flip It, where I host defend the point and then flip the script and to defend the opposing view. The Warriors are the 7th seed facing the Rockets. Does Jimmy Butler give the Warriors the edge? Defend. The Warriors with Jimmy have been great. He will prove the competitive edge against the Rockets. And, First Lady, I'm looking at, the addition of JB to the Warriors. And it really is like Steph got his splash brother back. He got somebody to do some work and take the pressure up off of him. And for some reason, it seems like JB has had an attitude shift. It really does. It looks like he done mellowed out. He knows he doesn't have to have all the pressure put on. So, this is like working out where they moving and grooving. And it's like, I think they done won over 20-some games and only lost like 8 games during the stretch there. So they got momentum going. And also, who on the Rockets is really going to be able to contain JB? And then if they do, then all that's being set up is for Steph. So, but Jimmy dropped in there. he does not have to be the number one, but he brings that. He's the edge. He's the competitive edge that the Rockets got to go up against. That it's going to be an interesting series. But he's the edge that's going to put the Warriors over the Rockets in that series. Now, firstly, I know you're mad at JB for his behavior in Miami, but the thing, he is the edge against the Rockets.
Yeah, I'm not the only one. But anyway, you know, when you think about the Warriors, I mean, let's just go back. Before they traded for Jimmy Butler, they were 25-25, and so they had a great surge with Jimmy Butler. I mean, he added so much life to this team. Ever since they got him, you know, for the regular season, their overall record was 23-7. His performance in the play-in game against the Grizzlies was spectacular. He and Steph are a 1-2 punch. He says he's Robin to Steph being Batman. And people always wonder, is playoff Jimmy for real? Yes, playoff Jimmy is a real thing. Now, that's one thing about Jimmy Butler. And, you know, we know the Miami Heat president, Pat Riley, didn't like it because, you know, playoff Jimmy didn't play hard during the regular season because he saved himself for the playoffs. And Pat Riley had a problem with that. But you know, it is what it is. He is playoff Jimmy, and you're right. He got that edge. He brings that grit to this team. You know, Draymond has a little grit, but Draymond's getting long in the tooth. So Jimmy's not too far behind either, but still, Jimmy is, again, because he's rested during the regular season, he can come out and shine in the playoffs, and he becomes a completely different individual when it comes to his game. I mean, like you said, he's allowed Steph to perform well because it's not all on Steph regarding scoring. He has another person that can help him score, that can take over a game. And that's what playoff Jimmy does. He takes over games, you know. And another thing, because he goes to the free throw line. And that's something that the Warriors didn't have. And, again, because Steph is always running around those screens and everything, he can take rest now because of the fact that Jimmy goes to the free throw line. And as Steve Kerr says, their offense was basically geared to setting a whole bunch of screens. And he says with Jimmy Butler, they don't have to do that because Jimmy Butler can get his own shot. And that's the thing. And when it comes to the Rockets are very young. The only players on their team, really, I believe that had playoff experience is Dylan Brooks when he was with the Grizzlies and Fred VanVleet. Remember Fred VanVleet won a championship when Kawhi Leonard was on the Toronto Raptors team. So, I mean, they have a lot to prove. They're a young group. It is going to be an interesting series because you got the OGs against the young players. And who's going to survive? Everybody believes the OGs are going to. But this is going to be a tough battle. But, yeah, Jimmy definitely has proved he is the competitive edge that they need against the Rockets. That's all I'm saying.
All right, First Lady. Well, we're going to flip it and defend Jimmy will help, but look to another player to step up and be the edge like Draymond. Now, Jimmy actually has done, to me, he's done more than the original Splash brother, you know, because he's brought his full game. And defense wins championships in series. And while the pressure is off Steph, as far as scoring, as far as the war, as far as that. But the edge is who is going to be that defensive player to shut down those Rockets. And it might be the entire defense. But the Rockets are going to go up against the Warriors, and there is going to be somebody or or maybe some two on defense who will be doing the shutting down, and that's going to make it easier for Jimmy and for Steph to do their thing. So I say look out for a competitive edge coming from the defensive ranks. First Lady, defense. Someone else will be the edge the Warriors need to beat the Rockets.
Well, imagine that Jimmy and Steph were a knockout punch against the Grizzlies. They scored over 75 points among them and for the entire game. So, but they barely beat the Grizzlies. So, when you think about that, that tells you something. Other people got to step up. And the main person that needs to step up is Draymond. And Draymond, yes, he's always going to bring the defensive edge to the Warriors. He is that defensive individual. But the one thing that Draymond needs to step up on, he has to make those threes because he's going to be left open. You can guarantee that the Rockets are going to leave Draymond. They're going to dare Draymond to make those three-pointers. And that's what Draymond needs to do because he's always going to bring it defensively. And he did that against the Grizzlies. He made spectacular plays. But, again, he needs to make those outside shots because if he makes his outside shot, I mean, that's something they need because right now Steve Kerr is not playing Jonathan Kuminga, which is kind of surprising. And everybody's talking about why he's out the rotation because he basically was their third scorer. So, I mean, they have a young guy named Brad Brzezinski. He's been playing real well, too. But it is Draymond. Draymond has to be a very willing shooter because he's going to be left wide open. So they need his edge, and the edge is basically shooting because he does already bring it defensively.
Okay, Draymond still may be the man. First Lady, over to you for more. Flip it.
The New York Giants have the third pick in the draft, and they have brought in two quarterbacks, Russell and Jameson. Should they trade down to get a bonanza of draft picks, even if they have a shot at Shedeur? Big face. The Giants need everything. The more picks, the merrier. They should trade down, defend.
First Lady, I know it's some Giants fans who are going, get Shedeur. But getting Shedeur and the current state of the New York Giants, and they got Russ and Jameis, you're getting Shedeur, but you would be getting Shedeur for down the road. Like, you're not getting Shedeur to start this season if you have Russ and Jameis on the roster. That just ain't happening. And the makings of what they've created is that either Russ or Jameis will start, and if Russell starts, it's going to be a point in the season where, unfortunately in the sports, in sports years, Russell's going to have a breakdown. And then Jameis is going to come in. And Jameis, a little bit younger than Russ, will be able to carry them through the season. And it's like, I don't get that Shedeur at this state, coming in as a rookie, would be able to actually beat Russ or Jameis out. Now, he can be designated the starter, but I don't get that he can really beat either one of them out for the starting position. So they bring in Shedeur, it would be all about learning. Now, if they take that third pick for some anxious team who are willing to give up some draft picks that can help that team be solid, like draft picks where they can start adding to that offensive line, so that once Russ becomes a statue, they got somebody to protect them, and then perhaps get a running game go. They need to go with the boatload of picks. Get the picks. They need everything. They got holes everywhere. And that Saquon Barkley going to Philly and winning a Super Bowl, Giants fans, they looking all upside. Now, look, we kind of had, he broken up. Now, he can go to Philly and win a Super Bowl, and we had him here. We had him here, New York. So I think that they're going that they need to go ahead and just say the more picks, the merrier. That gives us youth, and it gives us pieces we can work with. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
All right, they just need to drop it down. Yeah, I mean, that's what they need to do. I mean, first of all, you got the number 3 pick, and if you don't think Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback, if you don't think Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback, then you need to just drop down. Excuse me. I'm sorry, people. First ladies are struggling with allergies this morning. I apologize. But, yeah, if you don't think he's a franchise quarterback, then you need to get more help where you need help. And you need help at your secondary. You need help at your offensive line. So you do have Russ. You already have Jameis. So you need to get more picks because you're a team that is currently not a full team because you're lacking so many stuff. So anyway, yeah, they got to drop down. Definitely got to drop down. So I just don't, it's been this thing with Shedeur. People in New York want them to draft Shedeur because, they believe he's going to be a number 1 quarterback, but I'm not sure if he's going to be a number 1 quarterback. So the Giants need to do what they need to do, and they just need to get more picks. All right, let's flip it. Let's flip it. At number 3, they still have a shot at Shedeur Sanders. Spit face, defend. They should keep the pick.
Well, I'm looking at yes. At number 3, they have a shot at Shedeur Sanders. But at number 3, they also have a shot at some other top players, and they got holes. They need to make some type of splash during this draft that will give the Giants some type of hope, whether that be a top wideout coming out of the draft. We know it won't be a top running back. The running backs, dime a dozen at this point. Get them in the second, third, later rounds. But a top defender, somebody who the fans could look up and say, this will be a guy that's going to make a change to the Giants, whether it's on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball. And you can look at it 2 ways. On the defensive side of the ball, you can look at the Giants. If they don't do a lot of scoring, that defense is going to be on the field a long time. So they need fresh talent there, and they need a star player. They need a star player on one side of the ball or the other. And then here on the offensive side, you got Russ, who you need a line. But if you're preparing for the future, which might be in 2026, which, quote, supposedly has a better draft class at quarterback coming out, hold your cards, but work on building that line, because that line is going to help you, help the current team and a future quarterback coming in. But you need to get the best player available that can make a difference for the Giants with that number 3 pick. Keep it and get that player because at number 3, there are players who will make a difference on that team right away. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, so, there's at number 3, there are players out there, and that's the whole thing. You got the number 3 pick. Giants, you cannot mess this up. You just can't. You can't mess it up because this is career, I guess not career changing, but this is your franchise changing because you got the 3rd pick. So you really need to determine who is the 3rd best player in this draft. Okay, now according to the pundits, Travis Hunter is the number 1 best player in this draft. Number 2, Abdul Carter. He's an edge rusher. He's the number 2. Cam Ward is number 3. Well, we already know Cam Ward is going to the Titans. That's what is happening. So the Cleveland Browns is where it's going to determine who the Giants are going to pick. Because are the Cleveland Browns going to take Travis Hunter? If they take Travis Hunter, then who should you take? All right, are you going to take Shedeur Sanders? You know, I don't think they're going to. I mean, I don't know who you should take. You do need a quarterback, but he is the quarterback that's out there after Cam Ward. But with Russ and Jameis, you should take the best player, and that would be Abdul Carter, even though he's an edge rusher. And I know you need help in the offensive line, but there's a lot of offensive people on this. You can get a lot of offensive tackle, even in the second and third round. So I would go with the best available player regardless of their position, because pick 3 is a game changer, and it needs to be a game changer for you guys. The Giants need to get the best available player at that 3rd pick. And it may not be Shedeur Sanders, even though you do need a quarterback, but you need a franchise quarterback. You need a quarterback that's going to bring your team for years to come, to keep you competitive for years to come. So if you don't think Shedeur Sanders is that individual, you still keep the pick and you still get that best player. Because trust me, in this draft, those top 5 players are game changers. And right now, I'm looking at Abdul Carter, and that's an edge rusher, and that's who you guys need. So, Giants can't mess this up, Spitface, because it's going to put their franchise back years if they mess this one up. All right, Spitface, over to you. Please take us to break.
Saquon Barkley. On the other side of the break, we have a performance from Aura J on Shout Out Part 2. Please, please, please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the true Spitface. Over to you.
On the second part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from RJ out of Elmont, New York. They say, smooth multi-genre vocalist, writer and producer from Switzerland, delivers with exceptional vocal range and unique style. Sit back and enjoy the smoothie sounds of RJ. DJ, let's hear One Day at a Time.
That's all I need. Listen, baby, just one day at a time is all I ask of you. Just one day at a time is all I need to see love through. Yesterday we were friends and the lovers, and day by day we grow so much closer together. My love is real and I know I belong with someone like you. And Lord knows the changes that I've been going through. It's really hard because deep in my heart I want to be with you. And if that's how you feel, girl, this is what we'll have to do. Just one day at a time is all I ask of you. Just one day at a time is all I need to see love through. Can you feel the changes when we're together? In every way, I each other. Emotion so strong, and I know I belong with someone like you. And Lord knows the changes that I've been going through. It's really hard to hide the fact that I want to be with you. Just one day at a time is all I ask of you. Just one day at a time is all I need to see love through. Just one day at a time is all I ask of you. Just one day at a time is all I need to see love through. Is this what love feels like? Give me more. Is this what love feels like? Give me more. Is this love? Oh, is this love? Is this love? Oh, yes, it's love. Is this love? Oh, is this love? Is this love? Oh, yes, it's love.
All right, First Lady. What's the verdict? Is one day at a time. Getting a shout out of the
Yeah, I want to shout out, but I would have liked to hear more. It was awfully short. I've noticed these young players, these young singers now, they don't make long songs, do they? I guess they just got to get your attention span, hit it quickly, and say you want more. Yeah, I couldn't listen to a lot more, but I'm definitely going to shout it out, though.
You might be right with the attention span. They said, look, after 3 minutes, we don't listen no more. They got it. It's almost like if you in a funny way, if you go back to the Dusties, okay, when it was the 45s and the 78s, they had a whole lot of songs that were like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Finger popping song and a whole. I think it was later on that you started to, unless it was blues. Now, if it was blues, blues go off there. They sing the same song for about 30 minutes. But now one thing I'm gonna shout about RJ. You didn't have any stalking language in your lyrics. And anybody can relate to, man, if this is what love feel like, I want some more. Hey, now who couldn't go for that? If it's feeling that good, I want some more too. Whether it's German chocolate cake, or peach cobbler, if it's tasting that good, you want some more. That's a good thing. So I'm giving this track a shout out. That is the end of shout out. You can check out K Jon and RJ on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. You might hear yourself on this shout out. First Lady, over to you. We may have First Lady muted, or we might be having a technological difficulty at the moment, but we will see if we can get her back here. Okay, we had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but the First Lady is back to wrap this up.
Okay, so we did have a little technical problem. So my top story to watch this. I didn't hear yours, Fitz. But anyway, what was your top story to watch this week?
I didn't. I actually didn't say what my top story to watch this week is, and I'll just say my top story to watch this week is the NFL draft drop. The draft is next week, but the drama is beginning.
Yes, it actually has begun 2 weeks ago because they've been talking about Shador Sanders. Woo! You know, they've been talking about him like Johnny Manziel. You remember Johnny Manziel?
Oh,
nobody knew who was going to draft him. I hope Shador Sanders don't turn into Johnny Manziel. That's one thing. But,
please have that. Yeah, and please, Shador.
My top story to watch, obviously, the NBA playoff starts this weekend. So that's the top story to watch for me. And I would like to also kudos to the all-female mission that took place on Jeff Bezos, the Blue Origin. They travel, it's a space travel company, and the all crew consisted of Katy Perry, she's a pop singer and songwriter, Gayle King, TV journalist and host of CBS Morning News, Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiance and former news anchor, Aisha Bowe, former NASA rocket scientist, Amanda Nugent, I'll never ever remember how to pronounce that name, but anyway, she's a civil rights activist and entrepreneur, and Carrie Ann Flynn, a film producer. They were the all-female, can't really call them astronauts, but that all-female crew, they did touch the atmospheres and went to space, and it was very successful. So kudos to them, representing women power, women empowerment. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesAndSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the first lady of sports talk and spit face. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.